Our member engagement chair stepped down in the interim between the last general meeting and this general meeting, so we are filling that vacancy. The member engagement chair chairs the member engagement committee, as it sounds, and also sits on our steering committee and one of the 14 roles on that committee. We have 2 candidates today. There's candidate statements and priorities that are linked in the agenda. What I'm going to do is give each candidate 3 minutes to speak about their priorities and their personal statement for the chair position. And then I'm going to ask each candidate a question. I'm going to ask a total of 2 questions, and then we will have the election. So candidate number 1 is Marlin Foreman. I'm going to unmute you now, and I will start your 3 minutes for your personal statement. Go ahead, Marlin.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marlin, and I'm running for the member engagement chair position. I joined Philly DSA back in 2018, and I had what I think is a pretty common experience, which is that when I joined the organization, I really had no idea how to be an active participant. I had no idea what kind of organizing work I wanted to do. So what I started out doing was going to social events that were being held by the member engagement committee. And through going to these events and meeting people, I did become involved in a lot of organizing work. And the first long-term commitment I made was joining the member engagement committee. So to me, this committee is really important because I think it's what bridges the gap between just being a dues-paying member and being an active participant and an organizer in Philly DSA. Now, since October, I've been serving as the interim chair of this committee. In that time, I think we've had a lot of great successes. We've had 2 new members meetings that each of them have had over 50 people. And those are the 2 biggest new members meetings of this year of 2020. And I just want to stop and say for a second, if you were at those meetings and you're here today, thank you so much for getting more involved. Thank you for taking the next step. And I think I speak for everyone when I say we're very glad to have you here. Another accomplishment we had was that we held a social and fundraising event that was an online Quizzo night, which was very well attended. I may be biased, but it was a lot of fun. And it raised $400 for the chapter, which is the most money that a member engagement event has raised this year. So I think the committee is moving in a positive direction, and I want to continue on that success. But I also have a few long-term goals that I'd like to tell you about right now, my priorities. And the first one is a member census. And what this is about is Philly DSA now has over 1,600 members, which is amazing. But it could be more amazing if we knew a little bit more about them, what they'd like to see from the chapter, what type of organizing they're interested in, and knew a little bit more about their situations. So what I'm proposing is not just creating a survey and asking people to fill it out, but doing a comprehensive organizing project where we use tools like phone banking and other outreach to try to get as many people as possible to fill this out, so we can really hear from a group that really represents all 1,600 of our members. And importantly, we should be looking to hear from both active and inactive members, because inactive members join DSA for a reason, and this census is what's going to help us figure out how can we encourage them to actually be active members in the future. So I think this project will benefit our entire organization. I think we should get to work in it early in 2021, and so that's something I'm really looking forward to doing. Another thing is we need to be doing more social events, and I'll start this off by saying I know it's not easy to do these social events in the era of COVID. We are socially distanced. It's tough, but the member engagement committee is up to the task, and I know that by the aforementioned trivia event. Really good time, really well attended, and raised money. So I think we can do more of that. And I want to point out, this is not just a matter of doing fun things to have fun. Sure, we want it to be fun, but also I think forming social bonds, starting to care about each other. That's a really important thing about doing difficult leftist organizing, because we don't win every day. In fact, a lot of days it feels like we're losing, and having these social bonds and really caring about each other is how we prevent burnout. It's how.
That's time, Marlon.
Sorry?
That's time. Thank you, though. Our second candidate is Anlin. I'm going to unmute you now and start your time.
Hey, wait, hold on. Can y'all hear me? I'm having mic troubles. Okay, cool. Thanks. It's fine now. Hey, good afternoon. My name is Anlin Wang. I'm a member of Philly DSA's Member Engagement Committee. I've been an active DSA member for 3 years, served as a member of the Outreach or Member Engagement Committee since 2018. And I've represented DSA in direct actions and international outreach work. I've been an organizer since 2017, and I currently work as the community liaison for Philadelphia's first socialist city council member, Councilmember Kendra Brooks. as well as serving as a co-chair of the Asia and Oceania Subcommittee for DSA's International. Now, I don't want to just repeat the candidate statement I submitted already. I encourage all voting members to please read them before voting. I'd rather spend this time clarifying why I chose the priorities I did. Those are: 1, creating a leadership development ladder, prioritizing working class people of color; and 2, fundraising at least $10,000 for the organization by the 2021 local convention. DSA is at a bit of a crossroads. The truth is that despite the enormous progress we've made, we're nowhere near winning our national organizational priorities, like Medicare for all, housing for all, as David Sirota just pointed out. The entire Democratic congressional delegation representing the Philadelphia region is at best unreliable, supporters, if not right hostile, to these core principles. I believe that in order to change this, we need more socialists of color and a war chest big enough to threaten the political establishment. To that end, I'm grateful for the Member Engagement Committee, which has built critical infrastructure to help bring the chapter to where we are today. But we need to make changes to win the power that we need. First, as fundraising is a responsibility of the Member Engagement Committee, the committee must make fundraising a serious chapter political priority. This view of mine has only grown stronger since I first proposed a chapter fundraising goal of $50,000 in 2019. Let's be clear. When smaller DSA chapters in other parts of the country and other left formations in Philadelphia, a fraction of Philly DSA's size, are far outstripping us in fundraising, it means that we're failing in our obligations. And as the biggest membership socialist organization in the city, we should be number 1 in fundraising. We're only going to get there with all of us. Second, we must take our chapter's demographics seriously. But without an explicit commitment to addressing this, what we know is that this problem we all recognize as a problem is not about to change. And that's why within the existing work of the Member Engagement Committee, I will prioritize engaging members of color, including in the development of a pathway for leadership development engagement, as well as seeking to advance new ways of using this committee to help shift organizational demographics. There's no sugarcoating this is going to be a major challenge. It's a battle that can't be avoided and will take the effort of all of us to overcome. So if you agree with this vision for our local and our Member Engagement Committee, I hope you'll consider casting a vote for me for Member Engagement Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to do like a swapsies type style thing with these questions. So Marlon will answer the first question first. Anlin, you'll answer the second question first. Sound good? Thumbs up? Great. Cool. So the first question that I have for each of you is, it's a little bit of a interview role play question submitted by one of our members. Let's say you're talking to someone who is interested in joining DSA. They're thinking about it, considering it, but they're not all the way there. What do you say to this member? Marlin, you'll have 2 minutes to answer this. Go.
Yeah, so in this situation, I think this is a classic time to call for an organizing conversation. And what that means really is that you're not just going to talk at them. You're not just going to start, giving them this, that, and the other reason why they should join. First thing you should do is ask them some questions, listen to them, and hear what they have to say. And so that would be kind of the first direction I would go, is to hear what they're about and what they want to be about and what makes them interested in DSA, what makes them hesitant to actually pull the trigger and join. Second thing, personally, the direction I would go in is I would invite them to come to an event with me. I would say, hey, why don't we pick an event that's upcoming that you might be interested in going to? You don't have to make the decision to join right now, but why don't we go to this? And by the way, let's go together and I'll introduce you to some people and you'll learn a little bit more about the organization. And that type of low pressure ask that is not immediately approaching them and saying, will you join, yes or no, I think is a great way to get people started. And then third, I would talk just, as I am talking up DSA, I would just talk a little bit about the fact that we are a member organization and we're an organization that values democracy internally and externally. And therefore, when you join DSA, you would have a seat at the table, as we're all here today at a general meeting making decisions collectively. There's a lot of organizations that have good progressive politics, but don't quite do that. And so those would really be the 3 ways I would approach somebody who is unsure but interested. So that's my answer.
Thank you so much. Anlin, let me swap things back over to you. And same question to you. How would you talk to a member or potential member who's undecided on joining?
Hey, thanks for the question. For me, I don't really think there's a such thing as like an organizing conversation template you can cross-apply to every sort of format. You know, for me, I would probably like separate this into two sort of conversations. One would be like an extended organizing conversation. Maybe you have this at the door over coffee, something like that. And the other is the elevator pitch, right? If you only have 2 minutes to try and get someone to join your organization, you have a compelling pitch. You may not have time to hit all the points that you want. Normally, an organizing conversation, what I seek to do is to establish what is the individual's motivation, what is their self-interest in joining, what is it that they care about, right? What are the issues that affect them, and I want to connect those issues. Now, as it stands, almost every issue that someone can think of can be connected back to a national organization, a mass membership organization. No matter what your issue is, you can probably connect it back to the need for a mass organization representing a multiracial working class movement to take power, whether it's housing, Medicare for all, racial justice, or anything else. And so I think it's essential that no matter what your time is, you try and get that if at all possible. If you don't have that time, what I would do is make it clear that this is the third biggest left-wing formation in this country's history. And we've only gotten there in just a few years. Potential for us to grow and win the change that we need is enormous, but it takes all of us. And so to that extent, I would ask if you can at least contribute the minimum of $2 a year to this national organization to get you on board, because we need every single person. We can't do it without you.
Thank you, Anlin. The next question is actually going to go to you first as well. And this one is more about, this is another member submitted question, and it's about what do you find about the organization that keeps you committed, that draws you in? So that is to say, as a member of DSA, what is it that engages you, and what do you think is the most successful at drawing people in? On the net, that you're up again. Did you hear the question?
Am I off mute?
Yes.
All right, cool. So for me, what keeps me in DSA is we're in a tough spot, right? We have climate change, we have a healthcare crisis, a housing crisis, and obviously COVID is only getting worse, and we're on the about to face a cliff of evictions that's going to hit the hit the entire country. But what really what probably keeps me in DSA though is the fact that our ambitions are not small, right? What we're trying to do is the hardest task in human history. We're trying to overthrow the most powerful regime in human history, that is to say, the capitalist ruling class of the United States of America. This is the richest and most militarily powerful institution that that we've ever had in human history. So I'm not too interested in leaving the biggest left formation that's come around in decades, since the Students for a Democratic Society decades ago. I know that this organization has challenges. I know that this organization is facing growing pains. But what keeps me here is the understanding and the political analysis that only with all of us are we going to be able to face this insurmountable task, this seemingly insurmountable task ahead of us. And so that's why I'm committed to staying in and organizing in the biggest organization, socialist organization in this country's history in decades. I also believe that only with a mass organization is it going to be possible to build international solidarity as well. I think maybe that seems obvious, but it's the case that if you are a leftist or an organizer in some other country, it's going to be difficult to analyze the U.S., right? And if you're thinking about the left in the U.S., the first thing you're going to think about is probably DSA. And so, for these reasons, I'm a committed DSA member. I'm committed to staying in this organization and having it grow.
Thank you so much. Marlin, I'm going to ask you the same question to wrap this up. As a member, what do you find most engaging about the organization?
Okay, so, first of all, I want to say I think Anlin's right when he kind of summarizes the situation we're in right now, and the fact that DSA is, the largest socialist organization in decades and a great opportunity. What I would add to that, I'd like to pick up kind of where I left off at the end of my last question and just say the fact that this is an actual member organization means a great deal to me about how we are going to move forward and continue to succeed. Because, they're just, in 2016 and 2017, when we kind of got this new burst of progressive energy and leftist energy, I ended up on a lot of mailing lists, and a lot of organizations would send me things like, we are launching this campaign, we are endorsing this candidate. And I always wondered, who is we? How has this decision come to? What does it actually mean? What is backing this up? In Philly DSA and in DSA generally, this is a membership organization. It's a democratic organization. So it's meetings like this that determine all these decisions. And I think that's how you get buy-in. I think that's how you actually develop people into great organizers and how you make a difference on the grassroots level. And I think that's what's missing from a lot of the other organizations left that you might have otherwise gone with. And I think the results show it out. I mean, Philly DSA is a membership organization, not Philly DSA, but DSA in general is a membership organization, has grown hugely over the last few years. What people thought was unthinkable. And that's not, maybe it's partly because Bernie Sanders said the words democratic socialism, but I think it's something that's really compelling about the way our organization is run. And it's put a focus on a lot of great things, on fighting for social justice, on continuing class struggle, on supporting organized labor. And I don't think that focus really comes out of like a boardroom meeting. It comes out of everyone having a say. And that is what we have here. So that is what I find the most engaging. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to both of our candidates, Marlin Foreman and Anlin Wang. I am going to open up the question for the election. And hold on just one second. Let me handle that. Everyone should be able to select a vote in just a second. All right. Sorry, that was Marlin's timer. Okay. Everyone, please cast your votes. I'm going to leave voting open for at least a couple of seconds because I know that people need to switch back to their tabs and everything. So please, again, cast your votes. The choices are Marlin Foreman and Anlin Wang. I'm going to leave voting open for another 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our new member engagement chair is Marlin Foreman by a vote of 171 to 139. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating. Congratulations to Marlin. Thank you, Anlin, for running. I want to make one announcement very quickly, which is vote with your donations in our t-shirt contest. You can submit your donations for your favorite t-shirt design at phillydsa.org/t-shirt-contest-2020. My personal favorite is a jersey, but apparently my endorsement doesn't mean anything because it's in second place, right